we have all been trained by the internet to look at like exactly one number when we're trying to judge someone's value online.
Oh, absolutely. The follower count.
Right, the follower count. It is entirely binary in our minds. You either have 1 million followers and you matter, or you have, 10,000 and you are functionally invisible to the market.
Yeah, it's comforting in a way, right? Because it's just this lazy, easy metric to categorize the entire digital world. Marketers honestly love vanity metrics.
Oh, they do.
They are highly visible. They're super easy to just slap onto a spreadsheet. And, well, they require absolutely zero critical thinking to present to a client. You just point at the big number and say, look, reach.
Look at all these eyeballs. Right. But the moment you actually step out of the spreadsheet and into the actual mechanics of how trust is built and monetized in the modern digital economy, that simple number system just shatters.
It completely falls apart.
It really does. We are looking at a landscape that is shifting right under our feet. So today, for our deep dive, we're looking at this sort of digital ghost in the machine, a creator named Lavanya Buddhavarapu.
Right, going by the handle lavi.bvp.
Exactly. And according to this highly detailed influencer intelligence report that we've sourced from June 6th, 2026, which is hosted over on Right Dot as well, she only has about 11.4 thousand followers on Facebook.
Which, to the average agency, she does not exist.
Right. But under the hood, she is sitting on an absolute gold mine. Okay, let's unpack this.
So to understand why a digital agency would even bother, commissioning a specialized intelligence report on an 11,000 follower account, you have to realize that surface numbers are a deliberate trap.
Yeah.
The report classifies her strictly in the nano to micro tier of influencers. And like you said, she creates Telugu first content.
Yeah.
In the grand ecosystem of 2026, where everyone is desperately trying to go global, she is hyper-regional.
Right. And I was thinking about this, having 1 million followers who never comment, never share, and just mindlessly scroll past your face. That's like renting out this massive 1 million-seat football stadium, but it is completely empty.
You're just shouting into the void.
Exactly. You're shouting into the void. But Lavanya's 11.4K followers, on the other hand, are like a sold-out, sweaty indie club where every single person is packed in tight and they're all screaming the lyrics back at the stage.
That is a perfect analogy, and it's exactly why the smartest players are completely abandoning raw reach for what this report calls influence density.
Influence density. I love that term.
Right. It is not about how many people could see the content. It is entirely about the depth of the action taken by the people who do see it.
Yeah, and the report actually points to a specific pin post on her page, right?
It does. It pulled 74 reactions. Now, out of 11,000 followers, that is roughly a 0.67% engagement rate.
Which doesn't sound like a lot to a layperson, but...
Yeah, but in the context of Facebook's incredibly saturated algorithm in 2026, achieving almost a 1% engagement rate on organic, non-boosted content is phenomenal.
It's basically unheard of, unless you're paying for it. But that is just the baseline, right? The breakout moment in the data, the anomaly that flags her as a high-value target in this report is this single video reel she posted.
Oh, reel.
It hit 9.9K views initially, which means almost her entire follower base watched it.
Which is wild on its own.
Right. But then the algorithmic reach just exploded to 88.1K people. It pulled in over 2,200 likes, 188 comments, and 80 shares.
And we really need to look at the mechanics of how that algorithmic distribution actually functions in 2026.
Right.
Because it isn't random luck.
Right. It's not just a glitch.
Exactly. Facebook isn't just, throwing her content out to 88,000 random strangers to see what sticks. It distributes based on ideological alignment and the velocity of those initial interactions.
Right.
Think about the friction involved in actually sharing a post. When 80 people share a video, they are actively telling their own network, hey, this represents my worldview.
It's a huge endorsement.
Huge. So the algorithm maps the microclusters of those 80 users. It looks at their psychographics, sees they are highly engaged Telugu-speaking professionals, and essentially uses them as a predictive model.
Wow.
It says, okay, find me 80,000 more users with this exact behavioral fingerprint.
So the algorithm is essentially using her core audience as a heat-seeking missile to find lookalikes.
Exactly.
And the metrics absolutely prove that her audience is listening. But I think to understand why they are listening, we need to look at what she is actually feeding the machine. Because she isn't doing, viral dance trends.
No, definitely not.
She isn't posting generic memes. What are her actual content pillars?
Her content pillars are incredibly specific and culturally anchored.
Right, we are talking about deep Telugu emotional and philosophical content. She posts quotes exploring, the tension between hope and greed or reflections on wisdom.
Yeah, very introspective stuff.
But then, and this is the crazy part, right next to that, she pivots into hardcore HR and career advice.
Which you wouldn't expect.
Not at all.
Yeah.
She will post an essay on why should HR professionals learn AI. And then she weaves in social commentary on women's workplace safety, discussing the real, harsh realities of night shifts.
Yeah, she covers a lot of ground.
And intermingled with all of this professional content, she does these community signaling posts.
Yeah.
Like paying tribute to the late legendary singer SPB's birthday.
The report defines her persona beautifully. They call it an elder sister voice.
Elder sister voice.
Yeah. It is a voice of guidance. She even holds a programmatic fan favorite badge directly from Facebook. And that isn't just handed out, it is triggered by consistent, meaningful back and forth dialogue in the comment sections.
Oh, so she's actually in the trenches replying to people.
Exactly. She owns a very distinct psychographic segment. We are looking at urban and semi-urban Telugu speakers, heavily concentrated in Hyderabad, primarily aged 30 to 55.
Okay.
These are working professionals, often women, actively seeking emotional validation alongside career readiness.
Okay, I'm going to push back here for a second.
Yeah.
Because this is where my marketer brain kind of short circuits.
Sure.
I understand sponsoring a tech reviewer to talk about a new phone. The pipeline there is direct, right? Here is a phone, it has a good camera, go buy it.
Highly transactional.
Right. But if I am a brand trying to sell a product, how does sponsoring someone who posts philosophical quotes about greed and, tributes to a late singer actually scale? Isn't emotional trust way too abstract to drive sales?
See, you are hitting on the exact trap that traditional performance marketers fall into.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they want a one-to-one transactional relationship, but brands hiring Lavanya are paying for influence intensity per follower.
Influence intensity. Okay, break that down for me.
Let's look at the psychology of how this works. When a creator posts deeply resonant advice about, say, maintaining self-respect in a toxic corporate environment, and her followers are in the comments saying, "I was crying in my car today and I really needed to hear this," a profoundly intimate bond is formed there.
Because they feel genuinely seen by this person.
Exactly. The follower drops their defensive, cynical shield. When that shield is down, the trust transfers completely.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Right. So 3 days later, when that same elder sister figure says, "By the way, as a working professional trying to manage your time, here is an AI upskilling tool I trust."
They don't view it as an ad?
They don't view it as a commercial interruption at all. They view it as continued care. The conversion rate on that recommendation is staggeringly high because the audience implicitly believes she has vetted the tool for their specific emotional and professional well-being.
Wow. That completely reframes the entire concept of an ad read. It isn't an interruption. It's an extension of the relationship.
Precisely.
And this perfectly sets up what the intelligence report highlights as the single insight that changes everything about her commercial value.
Yes. The entire equation shifts when you look at her offline footprint.
Here's where it gets really interesting, you guys. Lavanya Buddhavarapu isn't an influencer hoping a brand notices her.
No.
The report reveals she is actually the co-founder and chief operating officer of Enrich HCM Solutions Private Limited.
She's an executive.
She has held that executive role for over 9 years. She's also the program director of Enrich HR Academy. She wraps all this corporate infrastructure under her intentional personal brand, Lavanya.
She is an authority, not a billboard.
Right.
The intelligence report points out a crucial verification metric here. The local business owner assessing her profile shares 211 mutual friends with her.
211. That's not just casual networking.
No, that is a massive trust signal, proving she is deeply embedded in the real-world physical business circles of Hyderabad. She isn't just floating in a digital echo chamber manufacturing authority. She actually sits in the boardroom.
And she is already successfully self-monetizing. The report notes she ran an AI-powered HR Live workshop on Zoom back in June 2026.
Yep.
And she sold tickets directly to her audience for 299 rupees per head. She has her own commercial ecosystem up and running.
She doesn't need a middleman.
Right. Which begs the question, if she runs her own company, has almost a decade of executive experience, and effortlessly sells her own workshop tickets, why would she even bother dealing with brands? I mean, She clearly doesn't need a sponsorship check to keep the lights on.
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture of B2B marketing, the dynamic is entirely inverted.
Inverted out.
Brands aren't doing her a favor by hiring her. They are paying for the privilege of co-promoting within her gated professional community.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. For Lavanya, bringing in a cutting-edge HR software brand isn't selling out. It adds value to her followers. It cements her position as the ultimate gatekeeper of industry knowledge.
So she becomes the curator.
Exactly.
Right.
And for the brand, it is a Trojan horse. They get to bypass the notoriously long, highly defensive B2B sales cycle by being introduced by the community's most trusted executive.
Okay, so let's talk about how this dual power, this emotional trust, combined with hard professional authority, translates into an actual pricing strategy.
Let's do the math.
The report maps out the specific brand fits. We're looking at edtech platforms like Upgrad or Coursera, regional Telugu coaching institutes, and obviously HR sauce platform.
Oh, big time.
Right. Companies like Darwinbox, Great THR, and Kika out of Hyderabad. It also notes premium ethnic wear and jewelry brands, capitalizing on her professional sari-clad visual aesthetic.
It is a highly curated list, though.
It is.
The report explicitly warns against taking money from mass FMCG.
Like your basic consumer goods, soaps, shampoos.
Right. Or global English-speaking tech brands. Her audience is too narrow and culturally specific for a mass-market soap campaign, and her language alignment is totally wrong for a Silicon Valley startup that only operates in English.
Because the precision of the brand fit is what protects the trust. So let me guess the math here. If she has 11,000 followers, a standard nano-influencer on Facebook in 2026 is probably scraping together maybe 1,000, maybe 3,000 rupees for a sponsored post.
In a traditional model, yeah, that's about right.
Okay.
But the intelligence report introduces what they call the CEO pricing rule.
The CEO pricing rule. I like the sound of that.
It aggressively revises her rates upward. They recommend she charge 5,000 to 15,000 rupees for a single scripted reel.
Wow, okay.
And the retainer packages are where the underlying B2B math really kicks in.
Because you aren't paying an influencer, you're retaining a consultant.
Exactly. For regional consumer brands, the report suggests a monthly package of 4 posts and 4 reels at 25,000 to 45,000 rupees.
Okay.
But for HR and edtech brands wanting to tap into her practitioner network, that monthly retainer rockets to 40,000 to 75,000 rupees.
75,000 rupees a month.
Yes. Plus, they recommend structuring these as revenue share models, giving her 15 to 25% per registration.
Because she's already proven at converting ticket sales with her own workshops.
Exactly.
You know, 75,000 a month for an 11K follower account sounds totally insane until you look at the enterprise sales math.
Right.
If a company like Darwinbox spends thousands of rupees just to acquire a single qualified lead through, like cold Google ads, paying Lavanya $75,000 to deliver a handful of deeply warm, pre-vetted corporate leads is an absolute steal.
It's extremely cost-effective.
It's the difference between paying for a billboard on a massive highway where cars just speed by versus paying the respected local mayor to stand up and endorse your business at a packed town hall meeting.
That's it. You are paying for the credibility of the speaker, not the square footage of the sign. You are renting her professional trust transfer.
Trust transfer.
And when you factor in the lifetime value of a B2B software contract, that 75,000 rupee retainer pays for itself if she converts just 2 or 3 of her followers into enterprise clients.
It's a no-brainer for the brand. But there's always but if I'm a brand and marketing director about to authorize a 75,000 monthly wire transfer to a Facebook creator, I am terrified.
Oh, yeah? You'd be sweating.
There has to be a catch. The report is built on P&L discipline, so what breaks this model? What are the structural red flags here?
The intelligence report does not hold back on the risks. The first constraint is platform dependency. Banking entirely on Facebook in 2026 carries huge organic reach risks as the platform's user base ages and the algorithms just mutate.
Yeah, relying on one platform is always dangerous.
Second is content mix dilution.
Meaning if she is already aggressively posting organic ads for her own 299 rupee Enrich Academy workshops.
Exactly. A brand's expensive sponsored post might just get lost in the noise of her self-promotion.
Oh.
But the third, and honestly the most critical risk, is the dual role conflict.
Okay, think about your own professional life for a second, right? If you suddenly started charging software companies to plug their tools on your LinkedIn feed, how long until your current employer pulls you into a meeting?
Not long at all.
The friction is incredibly real. As the active COO of Enrich HCM Solutions, rival HR brands might refuse to touch her without ironclad exclusivity clauses because they fear they are inadvertently funding a competitor.
Which brings us to the mitigation steps. Because you do not just walk away from an engaged audience like this, but you also don't blindly trust a PDF report.
Right, trust but verify.
The agency mandates a 90-day verification of her Facebook insights directly from the back end. Remember that 88.1K algorithmic reach on her viral reel?
Yeah, the massive anomaly.
The agency needs to know if that was a flash-in-the-pan single post or if she can consistently generate that cumulative reach month over month.
Because if it was just a fluke, the ROI falls apart.
Exactly. This raises an important question of attribution. The report advises starting with a highly controlled pilot campaign, maybe 15,000 to 25,000 rupees for a month.
Keep the risk low initially.
Right. And you deploy a trackable call to action, a custom WhatsApp landing page.
So you have hard data.
You have to prove the cost per acquisition in real time. You convert the hypothesis of her emotional trust into hard contract data before you ever graduate her to that 75,000 rupees tier.
Wow. So what does this all mean for you? We have spent the last quarter of an hour dissecting Lavanya, Telugu content pillars, and the enterprise mathematics of HR software. But let's bring the lens right back to you listening to this right now.
Yeah, how does this apply?
Whether you are actively marketing a product, trying to scale your own personal brand, or just trying to survive in a digital economy that feels increasingly loud and chaotic, the core lesson here is that depth absolutely destroys width.
Every single time.
Influence intensity and real-world, hard-earned professional credentials are just infinitely more valuable and much more defensible than inflated, hollow follower counts.
Lavanya Buddhavarapu is a masterclass in modern digital positioning. She has taken regional cultural affinity, high emotional intelligence, and rigorous corporate credentials and synthesized them into a highly monetizable microasset.
Yeah.
She is not waiting for the creator economy to reward her. She built a self-sustaining commercial ecosystem that forces the creator economy to adapt to her pricing.
Which leaves us with a really fascinating thought to chew on as we wrap up this deep dive.
Right.
If the future of influence is no longer about desperately chasing a massive audience just to beg brands for a sponsorship,
Right.
but rather about building an actual business, providing tangible value, and letting brands pay top dollar just to access the ecosystem you control, then the era of the professional influencer might finally be ending.
It's shifting for sure.
And the era of the influential professional is just beginning. What does your professional ecosystem look like? Are you building a stadium or are you building an indie club? Thank you for diving deep with us today.